Happy Monday. Miss Smoko is going to be doing a collage project with her class, and she emailed me and wanted to see if I could give some tips on collaging that could go with her project. So I figured I would do a little quick crash course in collaging for you guys so that you can get some ideas that might help you with your collage work. You're going to need to find some different magazines. Most likely you're probably going to have some of the same stuff that I'm showing on the screen right now. If you've got a mom, she's probably got these Better Homes and Gardens or Women's Day or these kind of things. My wife had them, my mom had them, my grandma had them. Some of these are my grandma's. Anyway, they're actually really good for finding backgrounds because they often have big scenery pages where you'll find full page pictures of landscapes and stuff, or chairs and tables and good background pictures. You can find background stuff in any kind of magazine. Like, this is a pretty cool background. You could use one page or the other. It doesn't have a lot of text all over it. It's mostly a big picture. When you're going through these magazines, look for phrases that might be kind of interesting. Like as you're going through here, united we fall. That'd be kind of a neat phrase to go with the picture. And it doesn't have to actually go with what we're looking at. Like, these are all video game stuff, but happy thoughts, another good one. So cut out, different phrases that you might use. If you find an interesting picture of a person or a thing that might be cool in your collage, like Sonic with a racket, then cut it out. This doll would be pretty cool in a collage. I might cut this out and use it. There's, lots of different kinds of things you can find when you're looking through your magazine. Like I said, sometimes in these Better Homes and Gardens and stuff, you'll get whole full page pictures. All right, so pick out some backgrounds that you like and cut out some objects that you can put together and cut out some words. Some things that will help you when you're placing objects, and you'll have to kind of remember back to the color wheel. You can make your own color wheel just with two triangles. Red, yellow, and blue are the primary colors. When you mix red and yellow, you get orange. When you mix blue and yellow, you get green. When you mix red and blue, you get purple. That's not necessary for collaging, other than it helps you when you're picking your pictures, because you want to have contrast. You don't want all your stuff to match. If you put something green with something blue or something green with something orange, they're going to be very similar. They're going to blend. And you might do that on purpose. You might have something that you don't want to look like it's out of place. But if your background is green and you want your object to stand out, you need to pick something that's across on the opposite end of things. If your background's mostly blue, something orange will really stand out. It's complementary color. It's opposite. Purple and yellow are opposites. They are high contrast. They make things stand out. So like with this picture I got here, that's a full page picture. Mostly green, except for in the middle you got yellow and orange. It makes them stand out a little bit more. But like if I found, this phrase, and I put this phrase on this picture, because the phrase is mostly green and kind of tans, earth tones, it blends in, which might be what you're going for. If I want it to stand out more, I would need something that's more opposite. And if you remember from looking at the color wheel, opposite for this green, these words, I need to find something that's mostly red. Let's see if that works. So if I got this one here, and then I found this picture, which I'm not going to use, but it's mostly reds, and I put my words on top of it, it's a lot more contrasted. You can see the color difference like really easily, versus on a similar background, it blends in with the background around it. And you can use either for collage for different reasons, for different effect. But it's important to think about those things, because if I have a background that's like this and I put a bunch of green stuff on it or brown stuff on it or blue stuff on it, it's mostly going to blend in and it's not going to really stand out. It's all going to look mostly green still. And it makes it harder to see stuff. Stuff gets kind of lost in it. When you find pictures like these, you might cut out some of this stuff and use it. Get a whole bunch of different kinds of things. I found a few different kinds of pictures. So like if you're looking through your magazine and you find these people, you might want to cut them out to put into your picture. Because like if I have a background that's like this with this kitty litter and the cat, maybe I want to cut out one of these kids and stick it in the background so it looks like they're in this room. When you're cutting out a person, you don't have to be super careful, because a collage isn't always meant to look like it's photo edited, you know, like where they're really there. But I can take these kids running and have them like maybe back here, like they're running through these trees or something. Or I could have them like standing on top of the microwave or standing in the litter box. I could cut this cat out and use this cat in a picture. That's probably what I'd be more inclined to want to do. Or maybe this table set and put it in a different picture. But you cut them out and you kind of lay stuff on the paper and move it around until you get something that you like. You could take a background that's a little different. Oh, with the, you know, you can put different stuff on here. Maybe they're standing in the boat. Lots of different things you can do. If I go back to this picture here, I'm going to get rid of these ones. These ones were just for fun. And I find like something red, because like I said, I wanted something that would stand out. But I'm not just going to like stick it like this, because that looks kind of like it's just a picture stuck on another picture. If you can modify things, you can kind of customize it so it looks like the pictures belong together. I'm going to cut off this upper top part. And then if I go like this, I could use some whiteout or some white paper and then make it look like he's inside this giant orange pot. And since it's orange, you know, it matches really well. And I might use this somewhere else so it looks like a portal or something. You can play with these pictures and move them around to make, you know, kind of different things that you're trying to make. I eventually settled on a background that I liked from a gardening magazine, mostly greens. So then I went to start finding different kinds of phrases. I found that saddle up one that I showed you, so I could use this. I found this hot dog one. I don't think so. Thought that was kind of cool, so I saved that one. This one I thought was kind of neat. Reveal the real you. So I found some different phrases that might work, cut them out, had those around. Then I started looking for maybe some things to put in. Like I have this guy here, he could be sitting in the garden and chilling. This would be good if I wanted it to look like a natural picture where things make sense. I could put a car in here. I could build a robot out of different parts to be in here so it's very contrasted. I got this guy in the corner here and almost looks like he's supposed to be, you know, in this picture. That's not usually how I like to build stuff. I found some other stuff like this smiley face coffee thing. I found some different kinds of pictures of stuff. I like to make stuff that's a little bit more strange, so I thought it'd be funny if this guy is hanging out and then maybe this could be his head, so I could glue this over the top. And then I found this body, and I knew I wanted to have a different head anyway, so I just didn't bother with, you know, putting a different, with cutting around the head. I found this skull picture in a Halloween ad. This guy is kind of missing, you know, his legs and stuff like that. So I thought it'd be funny if I found pictures of legs that I could put in the picture, like, you know, maybe this will be one leg. Then I found this exercise guy sitting down. I thought maybe this could be like a different leg. They don't go together, but that's on purpose, just to kind of make it kind of fun or silly. And then I found this advertisement where a guy's eating a hot dog. I thought I could take the arm and rotate it around so it looks like it's this guy's arm, just kind of like he's holding the hot dog with this hand, getting ready to eat it, and he's got this buff muscle. I found a advertisement with a baseball player. So he's holding a baseball in his hand. So he's got like another hand now. Now he's got legs and arms, and he's kind of a weird mix of different kinds of things. And when I had all those different phrases, you know, saddle up. You gotta think about your layering too. I'd want the head to be on top. And then I thought this would go with it. Saddle up and reveal the real you. And then this guy, because he's all hodgepodge and weird, versus this guy is kind of more normal and happy. I thought that the I don't think so would go well with this guy. So now it's got an actual story to it instead of just random things stuck together just to be random. It has an idea, and I can explain the idea. When I did collage with the 5th graders last year, because we had that art group, I had them come up with the rubric for how to score an effective collage. And they came up with a list. They came up with a list of how neatly things were cut out. Like it shouldn't just look like it was all ripped up. They talked about gluing neatly, effective layering. Like if I have this foot here in front, it covers up the words. So if you want these to show, you got to adjust it so that the important stuff shows. I could bring this guy down a little bit so he's behind the words. That way you don't really notice that his feet aren't missing that his feet are missing as much. I could have this foot look like it's kicking him. I can adjust things and change things to give it a different meaning, and I have to be careful with how I'm layering things. Like this arm has to be on top. If I glued it underneath, you wouldn't even see it. So that's what I mean by effective layering. Like if this was underneath the saddle up, then it would cover up the words, you know? So be thinking about putting stuff where you want it to be on purpose. And you have to do it before you glue. See, now I've got my head being covered up by the words, and that's not good layering. So that means I need to make sure that when I glue, saddle up is going to go before this skull because it's underneath. It's that whole background and foreground and middle ground thing. Once you get it assembled the way you like it, pay attention to what is the lowest picture. Glue that one first. In mine, these legs would be low because all this stuff is over the top of it. This body needs to be glued before the head, because otherwise, if I glue the head down first, then I'm going to have this guy's face on top of there, and that doesn't work. You also have to be careful with how you glue. I've seen people take their glue. I recommend liquid glue over glue sticks because the plasticky quality of these magazine pages, sometimes glue sticks tend to dry and pop off. Liquid glue doesn't tend to do that as much. But you can't just like pour it all over. I literally saw 5th graders last year hold their glue like a foot above the paper and just drizzle glue all over it. And then their pictures would be all lumpy and wrinkly because the glue was wet and thick. You don't need a ton of glue to get something to stick down. Like if I'm going to glue this saddle up here, I flip it over, glue the object, not the background. You just take you only need a little bit. It doesn't have to be like a ton of glue. See, I have it touching the magazine. You do want to get the corners so that you don't get your edges peeling up. But I'm not putting so much glue that you can barely even see that there's glue on there. It's just a little bit. You're not trying to make something that is indestructible. It's paper. Try to smear it around so there's no real thick parts as best you can. And then be careful when you place it so that it goes where you want it to go. Make sure you smooth it so it's nice and even. Push it out towards the corners so you don't have corners that lift up. And then you do one piece at a time until the whole thing is done. Again, I want that skull in front, so I have to be careful how I'm gluing stuff. And I need to pay attention to where they are because I don't want this so low that all of a sudden now this guy's getting blocked, or that there's no room in the bottom for this. So I need to be careful as I glue to keep things where they're supposed to be. When it's done being glued, if you want, you can take something heavy like a book or one of your magazines that you didn't use all of and just lay it down on top of it. The pressure will help it dry flat. Make sure you close your glue when you're done so it doesn't get dried out and crusty. Let it dry for a few hours. That'll help it avoid being wrinkled up. When you're picking your magazines, by the way, always ask permission before you cut up someone's magazines. Like, The ones I got from my wife, and I asked. She gave me magazines that she was okay with me cutting up. You don't want your parents coming downstairs, seeing you cutting up their magazines and getting all upset because you destroyed something that they didn't want you to cut up. Also, when you're doing these magazine browsing, finding your pictures, remember that not everything you find is going to be something that you can use. Since this is a school project, you need to be editing and thinking in your head as what's appropriate. Magazines have stuff that's not appropriate for a school project. They have advertisements for alcohol or cigarettes sometimes. Sometimes there's underwear ads, things that are not really appropriate for a elementary art project. And it's like the internet. You can't control what's in the magazine, but you can control what you cut out and what you choose to use. So you have to edit. You have to go past those and use the stuff that you can use. Don't spend too much time focusing on stuff that you're not allowed to use or that's not appropriate. Find the good stuff and use the good stuff. Hopefully that helps. Once I was done gluing this down, once I finished gluing it down, I would take a pen and sign it on the front so people know it's mine. I mean, give yourself credit for the stuff that you make. Take pride in your work. And don't just use like 3 pictures, right? If I just took like this background and glued one guy on it, it would be super boring. It's more interesting when there's a lot of different stuff, right? As I added more things, it became more complex and it became more detailed. Just like when we're drawing and we talk about having a detailed background, your collage pieces you pick are your details, and the more of them you have, the more depth your picture has and the more interesting it is, the more dynamic it is. And think about your colors too, so that your colors work together, and you should have a good time. Think about your words, think about what you're saying. Don't just pick random words to be random, because that's kind of boring. It doesn't make any sense and it's not interesting. Pick words that when you combine them together create an idea or a thought that works with what your picture is showing, and you'll end up having something that is kind of exciting and fun. Hopefully you had a good time getting some ideas. Remember your color wheel. It can help you when you're picking out backgrounds and objects so that the things in your picture work together and make sense. Yeah, hopefully this was useful to you. I will see you guys. Hopefully you're having a great day.